Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it's Thursday. It's June 12th. This will be our chart lesson for today, and this will wrap up our chart lessons for the week. No chart lessons on Fridays if you're new here. Um, we always start out looking at the daily chart. You can see here, it looked like we finally were going to try to close outside the trend channel, but I would say that closed right back at the trend line, so I would not call that a convincing close outside the trend line. And in fact, you might even adjust that slightly. And it closed back inside, in my opinion. So even if it was right where I had it the first time, I do not believe we've had a convincing close outside yet. So I think the uptrend's still intact at this point. So again, it started out looking like maybe a range day, but we broke out. We didn't go much higher than the overnight highs, but we did break out and trade above that and trade mostly up today. So I would call this another uptrend day. So there it is on the daily chart. You can see it. Let's flip over to the 2000 tick chart, take a look at what it looks like, go through the trades, and we'll wrap this day up and wrap this week up. Okay, here it is. You can see the spike and channel up, and then actually we spiked up and kind of went sideways and then had a nice trend up, then a correction, and then a flatter trend. We bounced off this lower support multiple times and um, ended up trending up the rest of the day. There's not a lot of trades here today. Again, not a lot of setups, but there's a few. There's a couple in the morning, a couple in the evening. There's not even a lot of green ones today. Just not a lot of setups, unfortunately. So it is what it is. You can't if you start trying to manufacture trades or force trades, that's when you start losing. And most people don't understand that. If you just got to be patient and wait on it to the market to give you the right setups. And if you do that, you're going to be way ahead of most people. So anyway, here it is. Let's zoom in here. We did have a news item at 7:30. We've had the PPI and unemployment claims, and so you needed to be flat for that. So I marked that out. So you couldn't really trade till after 7:30 today. And let me zoom in here a little more for you. And you can see by the time this was over, we're just working sideways here. And I don't see anything I really like. You might take this lower high here, or you could treat that like a failed breakout. You really need in my opinion, if you're trading it like a failed breakout here, you need a lower high off of this, and you just don't get that. But you might still enter there. I'm willing to give it a green, but well, the problem is it doesn't break low. I'm gonna take that back because the problem is it doesn't break below the next bar, and then you get an inside bar, and you don't want to enter on that. So just skip that. Um, that's why I didn't mark it originally, I'm assuming. So if it was just that bar alone and prices did break below it, you might give that a green. So, but we run down, we bounce down here again, but just a very average doji type bar, and we're still in this downtrend channel. We do get a break in a new low though, and because this closes back inside the range, this is actually a little lower than that. I don't quite have it where it belongs. I think you need to go long there, and if you catch that, I mean, you've easily got a triple test there. You've got a trend line working down, close outside, new low. Um, Several reasons to consider going long there. If you take that, you probably get a runner, and that may be the only trade you need today. If you didn't catch that one, you get another second entry right off this secondary uh, channel that started. It came up out of the range, and that's a second entry long, high or low, at least a triple test. Multiple reasons to enter there. Again, you probably don't get a big runner on this one like you did the other one, but it's still a pretty nice trade. Runs up. It looks like we're going to test the overnight highs, and we just keep going here. I don't see anything in here. This is we just kind of pushes up and goes sideways, pushes up and goes sideways. Did that all day kind of, and then we finally sold off here. Um, there's another minor channel working up there, but Notice that we don't make a new high. We get a close outside here, but we don't make a new high. And we just turn down. I don't see any setups I like to go short. We run all the way back down, and the former resistance turns into support. And here's another one. Let me talk about this first. But notice the new low in first entry, second entry. It's a second entry off the key entry point. Fairly decent bar. It's not perfect, but I think it closes in the lower 1/3. I think you can go short there. Just make sure you have room to scalp out, because you see it does bounce, and so you need room to get out there. And you actually could go long here. Again, it's not a new high here, so this is not even though it looks like 2 legs back, it's not. But you got a triple test across there. And this actually breaks lower and fails and turns up. You would have to go long on the engulfing bar. Most of you should not do that. Most of you should ignore engulfing bars, and because it doesn't close in the upper 1/3, so you can't go long way up here. And that makes it a I forget, like a 18 tick bar or something. So you don't want to go long up there. It's just a little bit too large of a bar. And then you're just chopping sideways, but we come back and we test that trend line again. It holds, but no real setup there. Comes back again here, and you get a second entry, but again, signal bar doesn't qualify. And then you get another 2 legs back. I didn't mark this one. It's a second entry right off the key entry point here. The problem is you're still in this downtrend channel. It looks like we might have a little bit of an overshoot here, and it's not a perfect signal bar, but I think it does close close enough to being in the upper 130. So maybe you take that trade. The ideal thing to do would be see if you get a higher low here, and you don't. This would be your signal bar over here, and you can't enter on that. It runs all the way to the top. And again, there's a lower high here, but I don't think you want to go short right into the midline EMA when you're in an uptrend here. So I think you have to sit tight on that. Let's wait and see if we get a long. And you actually do get a second entry here. Again, it's another engulfing bar, and it's just way too big to enter way up here above it. If you did, it would have worked, but that's like a 27 tick bar. So again, it's mostly red here, so it breaks lower first. So you could enter that on the engulfing bar. Again, that's not for most of you. Most of you should ignore that. You get a higher low, but we move too far there. And that's just the first entry. And finally, we turn down up here. If this would have broken lower right here, maybe you go short there, but it doesn't. You get a couple of inside bars. It's just sideways stuff. You can't enter on that. But you are trending lower, and you get a first entry, second entry, but again, it doesn't break lower till the second inside bar. You get a first inside bar here, then another inside bar to that one. So you can't go short there. It runs down here, and you do get a second entry long after a break and 2 swings down to a new low right at the key entry point. And this is a good signal bar, so I like going long there. Unfortunately, all you get is a scalp out of it. You don't get a big runner or anything, and no high or low. But you get another, quickly thereafter, you get another 2 legs back to the key entry point again, and another nice signal bar, so you can enter there again. And if you didn't enter here, you definitely want to enter here. And this one takes off. And again, right at the key entry point, notice the new high, first entry, second entry. It's a 13 tick bar. It's not humongous, but it's got a few ticks in it. But I think you got to take that trade. And you make a couple of swings up. You get a second entry short here, but you don't want to go short there. Then the signal bar doesn't qualify. And then finally you get a close outside and a couple of swings to a new high and a decent signal bar. And you do make a new high here as well. So I like going short just to try to ride it back and get a scalp out of it. And maybe it reverses since you did have a break. You don't quite have the new high in place yet, though. Notice we didn't quite get there. The original high is 49.50, and we made a exact double top is what we did there. So, but I still think you can go short there just to try to get a scalp out of it. And maybe it reverses, which it does, but we end up making another push to that new high. And that's, of course, that took us into 230, so we're not interested in any of this. You don't want to be trading out there after 230. So there it is. Again, not many trades a day, kind of a weak trading day. We've had several of these lately. At least there is a little more volume today. And there is some movement to the upside. It's just not a lot of setups. And unfortunately, it happens sometimes. Yesterday we had a good. I think it was yesterday we had a good mini. The day before that, and a couple of days before that, we didn't have much at all. But so we'll see what tomorrow brings. But hopefully we'll have a good Friday and we can close on a good week. But I hope you had a good trading day today. Hope you have a good one tomorrow. Have a great weekend. I'll see you Monday. I'm done for the day. I'm done for the week. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.